Hi, my name is Ishan, and today we're here with Aditi, who is a senior program manager at a tech company. So, do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself, Aditi?
Yeah, sure. Well, thank you for having me. So, hi, I'm Aditi Upmanyu. I work as a senior program manager at a big tech company here in Seattle, Washington. I have been working for about 9 years now, and my journey started in finance and investment management firms, and I've slowly progressed into big tech. And that's what I most love doing and working. I'm originally from New Delhi, India, and I moved to the States, specifically Seattle, Washington, about 8 years ago, and this is home now.
Nice. So you kind of stated how you started in finance. What kind of inspired you to move towards like the tech industry?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think, like I said, I come from New Delhi, India, and there are only two paths to education there pretty much. So once you're in your high school, you can either, take up science or take up commerce. And I think I went the commerce route. I was very much into accounting. I really liked that. I liked finance. And that's what I thought I would do, that I'll build my career in finance. So I did my undergrad in Bachelor of Commerce with honors, and then I majored in corporate finance, and I wanted to understand the investment world. My mom was in the banking industry, so it came very naturally to me. And then after graduation, I joined a hedge fund called the eShop. And the role that I landed in was a data analytics role. So it was in the investment management finance side of things, but it was also in the data world. And the hedge fund that I was in had an in-house tech department, or, everything, the tools, processes, everything was really tech heavy. They had their own custom built platforms. They were using sophisticated tools and technology, and a lot of work that I was doing sort of wanted or had me working with the tech folks. I learned about SQL, Python right there, and it was overwhelming, to be honest, as I did not have an engineering background. I never learned coding before this. So I started, it just got me curious, and I started learning about the tech side of things just to really just do my day-to-day and, really survive in that job. But it also made me understand how important it was. And when I relocated to Seattle, I joined another investment management firm, but it was more traditional in nature and did not have an in-house tech department, relied on a lot of like old school traditional processes. Most of the things were manual. And that's when I really realized that what technology can do, like how much, it can actually make your day-to-day easy. It can increase efficiency and optimize things. And that's when I really got excited and wanted to go back to a company that is really tech forward. And I joined eBay as a senior program manager and started doing that. And that's how my journey really started. It was not traditional in any which ways, but just, out of curiosity and just really understanding and embracing the benefits that it brings got me here.
Wow.
Yeah.
So kind of in your new tech company that you're working at, what does a typical day kind of look like for you as a senior program manager?
Yeah, so as a senior program manager, I think no day looks the same. It really depends on the team that you're working for in the project. So a lot of times it can really just be about, document writing, or researching for that matter, going through understanding what the current process or the status quo is, really understanding, trying to find gaps and opportunities and, strategize things, and then writing docs to explain it and take it to leadership. Or it can also be about deep diving into root cause analysis, working with data to really understand what's going on, what's not working, what's working. And it can also, one day can also just really be, full of meetings where you're trying to bring all the stakeholders together, trying to bring everyone on the same page and bringing alignment. So I think no day is the same, but really fluctuates and has a bit and piece of all of this, which makes it interesting actually, to be honest. And that's what I really like about being a program manager.
But since there's a lot of things that you kind of do, what are some the biggest challenges you face when going through every single thing? Or
Yeah, I think in the company that I work in, because the scope is so big, I think that it's exciting, but it also brings in a lot of responsibility, a lot of ambiguity. So there have been times when I am simultaneously working on 7 to 8 projects at the same time. And because I said the scale is so huge, there are multiple teams who are involved. A lot of times teams work in silos. So bringing understanding what's going on sometimes becomes a little bit of a challenge because, when teams are working in silos, sometimes you don't really have visibility into what the other person is doing, but it's also important for your team. So that becomes a little bit of a challenge, and then bringing stakeholders together also is a little bit of an interesting task when multiple teams are involved and when you're working on a time crunch, essentially. So I think those are the biggest challenges I would say. Yeah.
So, you work with the team, right?
I do, yes.
So when you guys face a problem, what steps do you guys take to kind of fixing that problem or solving that problem?
Yeah, so I think what I have learned, and this is not how I used to operate when I joined, but I think I've just learned this over the course of the 8 years that I've been working, is when you actually are faced with a problem, a lot of time I think human intuition is just to get into problem solving and to find a solution, which is important, but you have to take a step back and really understand what the problem is. Sometimes really defining the problem statement, that this is the problem that we're solving, and limiting the scope, because a problem can be made up of multiple different problems that make up that bigger problem, but really defining different problem statements. You can have problem statement 1, 2, and 3, but really focusing on one at a time. So that is important. And then the second thing is to really identify people who are involved, who you really need to fix that problem is important, and bringing everyone. So stakeholder management also is important. Bringing them together and keeping them informed every step of the way is important. Working with data, really having your defined success metrics, that okay, we're working on a problem, but how will we know when we've solved it? What is my success criteria? Because what success could mean to me not necessarily means to somebody else or to a different team. So I think keeping that in mind, breaking down the problem, limiting the scope, finding the right people you need to solve that problem, defining success criteria and your metrics that you will track all the way through and that define your end output. And then I would also say timelines. That is very important. Sometimes it's just people work on something, but then they keep working on it. That does not help. So those are the things I think that's how I think about it when I think about problem solving on a day-to-day.
And so I really find what you do interesting, data science, data analytics. I really find that interesting. So what kind of advice would you give me and possibly other people who are kind of interested like me, into going into tech?
Yeah, absolutely. So like I said, I don't come from a traditional tech background. When they say that, okay, you're a techie, I am not. I am still very much a senior program manager. I don't have the technical skills, but I think I have the expertise to work and sustain in the tech industry. And I'll tell you what I mean by that. So a lot of people think that if you have to work in the tech industry, any big companies you can think of, you need to know coding. You need to know programming. No, that's not true. Not everyone does that. A lot of people do that. We have dedicated software engineers and so on and forth, data scientists, people who are meant to do that. But then there are a lot of other roles within the tech industry. So you have people who are just in the design side of things. There are people who work as product managers, strategists and researchers. So if you want to get into the tech industry, don't get scared. I used to be. Start small. Think about what your best, what's your skill set, what's your strong suit. It could be anything, and then and don't hesitate to take that plunge. If you are really interested in data analytics, you can take up some projects. You can mentorship is also really helpful. Really start talking to people, start understanding what they're doing. That helps, and try to think about solving problems smartly versus in the traditional manner. So I feel like first, just understanding that tech is not about coding. Like you can take up other projects, other roles within the industry is important. And secondly, just understanding, just be curious, honestly. I don't think like there is any age to learn coding. I started, I barely know how to do it, but I feel confident enough to understand the technical aspects and then be able to explain it to people, non-tech people. I think that's very important. So having that soft skills and just the curiosity and the knowledge to really translate technical terms to business stakeholders is also relevant. So I think it's a wide ocean, and you can find your way around if you want to do it. So be curious, learn problem solving, and then be adaptable, because everything's changing so fast. No day is the same, but if you are able to do that, I think you'll just do just fine, is what I would say.
So before this, I thought the only path to getting into tech companies was like coding. So that's actually some like good advice. So
yeah, I think that's a traditional one. Like a lot of people think that you have to be a coder. No, that's not true. Yeah. There's so many other roles within the tech space, and you never know. Like that's something that you might enjoy more than coding.
And then kind of related to tech, like is there any like new upcoming technologies that you really like, or?
Yeah, I think a lot of people I think AI has already been spoken about, so I'll just keep it very brief. Like I think seeing AI do wonders in the logistics space would be interesting. I know a lot of good stuff is being done, but just to see like how efficiently and fast deliveries can happen, and I think speed matters. So I think that's what I'm most interested in seeing, like where that goes with it is what I'm really looking forward to right now.
And kind of similar to the advice question, if you could go back to like when you were choosing between like staying on finance or moving to tech, would you still come to tech or would you stay on the finance route?
That's a good question. I think I would definitely stay on the within a company. So like I'll take a step back here. So I have actually worked in different roles. So even when I was working at eBay, I was I was in a payment space. So I was still doing fintech, financial operations, but in a company that really had, an in-house tech team and was tech forward. And even now that I've recently switched roles and I moved back to finance. So I'm still doing, something in the finance space, but for a big tech company. So I think, I don't see myself going back to a core financial institution like an investment management firm per se, but never say never. But I think what my main criteria to choose companies is, are they tech forward? Do they have like a strong in-house tech department or teams? And are they really looking at tech for driving efficiency or optimizing their processes and building products and things like that? So I still see myself doing projects or programs related to payments and finance. But of course, like again, I want to be in a company that's challenging itself, has people who can actually drive, products and processes and results that are really tech efficient and tech heavy. So that's my criteria.
So that was the last question I had. So thank you so much for coming here and talking about yourself.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so that's it. Thank you guys.